So, good evening. We are back again. We have gone back to the summit. We're top of the table, and we have Liverpool coming up. Nice, comfortable victory yesterday for us against. Well, I say comfortable. We got over the line. Our finishing weren't comfy, and the Champions League draw was done today. So we're going to go through all of that. First and foremost, big up to everybody. We have reached 90,000 subscribers. So big up to all of you lot. And big up to everybody who's helped along the way in appearances on the channel, etc., etc. One of them being Jez. How are you, mate? Happy Monday.
Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, on the Coca-Cola today, no red wine. Because I haven't got any, so that's a bit of a bummer. I have to go down to the shops after this show. Great result yesterday. Happy, but I do have to laugh, man. I'd always watch back the fan cams of everybody, when we do them. And there was a guy in there saying, it's not about winning, it's all about the journey.
Oh, my days.
Where these people come from, man? Where do they come from? Seriously, it doesn't matter about winning. It's about the journey. Enjoy the journey. There you go.
It's funny that, because I put a tweet out earlier saying, this lot obviously haven't learned from our manager knocking us out against Sporting Lisbon last season. So don't get ahead of yourselves, lads. No. It's just full of people. Go and support another club. Get out of here. You're not Arsenal. Yeah, factual information, mate. These people, Jez and Kenny and the chat, use a football club as a social club. Yeah, it's a football club. It's there to win trophies. Yeah, and if you want to lower the standards, people, by using it as a social club, and it's about the journey and the storylines and all that, go and watch EastEnders.
Exactly.
Yeah, this ain't a soap opera. It's an elite level sport. But anyway, Kenny, again, how are you, mate? Happy Monday.
Oh, it's good Monday. I feel a bit better than I did yesterday. Also, I want to congratulate you on getting 90k subscribers. You got 10 more K to get 100,000. You know what we should call you? We should call you Don Gotti, the Teflon man. Nothing sticks here. The amount of people try to cancel you.
Yeah,
you have who are upset because you wouldn't work with them or didn't follow them back on Twitter or Instagram, have turned on you. People, the amount of things you get accused of. But we all know that all those people who slag you off or stay silent whilst you get slagged off secretly come to you for advice and help with their channel. We know who you are, boys and girls. You know that how you're giving everyone a leg up. But where I come from, my mum taught me one word when people help me out. Thank you. That's all you guys had to say. But no, you try to cancel someone. And guess what? Cancel culture doesn't work, I'm afraid. You just have to go.
Anyway.
You know what? My teachers always used to tell me at university, or lecturers at the time, try harder. Try harder. You want to put all of us down? Try harder. That's all I've got to say.
True, man.
Spot on, man. Yeah, big up to everyone who has sub, 90k subs. Everyone keeps their heart. It's funny. It is funny. Before we get into the game yesterday, it's funny because the amount of people that have gone out of their way to try and bring my channel down. Try harder is exactly the best phrase, Kenny, because I've not had a single community strike on this channel in just over 5 years. Furthermore, my second channel is closing in on 25k, so follow that one as well, and we can profit off a twerking for right.
As I said, keep trying, keep being the hard men. As you can see, when I go to football, not a mark on me, not a threat, just love, pure love. I'm always, when I go to football, I'm always trembling. Don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. I'm not. All mouth, you guys.
True letters. That's what they are. Pork chops, mate. True letters.
That's right. All pork chops. Try harder, you beg.
Exactly. Do you know what it is? Somebody said this to me the other day. Yeah, it's just jealousy, mate. They can't put their face on camera, and if they can, they don't get the traction because they ain't interesting. They're not entertaining. Yeah, so they can cry more. I don't need to sell out. Yeah, I don't need to sell out for a pound. No, I'll say exactly what I want to say. Yeah, exactly what I think.
30 people
That's got a short time scale, mate. Whilst they're all twerking for other people's channels, yeah, I'm growing my own. 2 of my own. Yeah, I don't need to sell out. But anyway, let's move on. Otherwise, I could be here all day going on about it. But anyway, thank you very much. Smash the likes up. Get these likes up, man. Come on. But anyway, let's go with the game yesterday, Jez. It was a case of loads of missed chances, and I thought, blimmin' hell, we're not going to score here. We just keep missing and missing and missing. Too many touches in the penalty box, not clinical enough. And then we got the goal, and then after that, we're thinking, right, get a second, because 1-0 is never enough. Even 2-0 at times ain't enough in the Premier League. And eventually, we got the job done. And we'll come to the United game later, because I think Liverpool were trying to go for the record of most missed chances and most lackadaisical shooting in a penalty box. They were trying to top our performance, but comfy, wasn't it, mate? It was comfy. They didn't really offer anything, but just frustrating to watch us miss chance after chance.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a lot more from Brighton. I really was. Normally when we play them, it's a sort of tough game. Apart from the game we beat them at their place 4-1 or whatever it was, but they didn't bring anything to the party at all yesterday. It was very, very slack, or was it we just played exceptionally well? I don't know, but we certainly took them apart in that first half. There's no question. We absolutely dominated them, and great to see. Lovely silky football. But as you say, we just can't seem to get it across the line. Too many touches at times, I think, spoils it. There's an occasion there where Odegaard had a great opportunity. If he'd had one touch and bang, he would have probably got that goal. But he went 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Time you've done that, mate, you've got no hope, because you've got all the players in front of you. And to try and get it through a set of players, with these 6 players in front of you, no chance. But we've got to smarten up on that one, because we've got a tough game coming at the weekend. And I say it's going to be tough because, we're going to talk about that game later. But we know that when we get to play at Liverpool at the Anfield, it's always a tough game. So I'm not taking anything from yesterday's game against Man United. Both 2 poor teams, but we know what Liverpool are like, mate.
Yeah, facts. Kenny, you was at the game. What was it like? What was the atmosphere like, mate, when we were missing all these chances? I mean, was it one of them, like it could be one of them days?
Yeah, it did sound like that, because we were completely and utterly dominant. I mean, stats are probably one of the biggest lies in football. So I always try to do the eye test, which is I have a benefit because I go to mostly all the games anyway. But Brighton didn't have a shot on goal. Defensively, we were completely sound. Midfield completely dominant. Brighton did. One thing Brighton did try to do, they just try to play out the back. They in that respect, they're impressive. They didn't, hit the ball long. The only time they hit the ball was diagonal, and everything was in place except for up front. It's one of the things where we just, it was last ditch defending, missed chances. Martinelli, was guilty of one. Odegaard had a shot which went wide, and Saka just got a bit hungry or greedy or bit how do I say, it's a Nigerian word they used to, gragra, where you just try to hit the ball over the bar when he should have shown a bit more composure. But you were going in there and we're thinking, oh my God, how are we going to score? It's one of those things where a fluky goal, i.e. deflection or a dubious penalty, would have got us back in the game. And let's face it, Brighton made only one a mistake where it was a flick on by one of the defenders, and Jesus scores an open goal, and after that you expect the floodgates to open, but Brighton still stuck to the game plan. But the good thing we did off the ball is that we still made ourselves difficult to beat. But that question that we're always going to talk about, will we get a striker? And for me, there are a few things that do worry me. The one that really is going to worry me is Martinelli's form as well. I think teams have worked Gabriel Martinelli out. It's no accident that we were trying to get a player in position in Mudryk. Everyone's saying, oh, yeah, but he's crap at Chelsea. I do understand that, but the fact is he would have been playing the better team of Arsenal. And I think until Martinelli develops his game, and, develops an aspect where he's not as predictable as he is at the moment, and teams know what he's going to do and know what he can't do, then I think Mikel's always going to look at that position and think, you know what, maybe we might need an upgrade there, because I thought Saka did okay, you know what I mean? Even though he always cuts on his left foot, he offers us a bit more in terms of football intelligence than Gabriel does. Kai Havertz again, bloody hell, who is this guy? I don't know him. One of the reasons why we probably didn't put him away is that Kai Havertz got in some excellent positions where he was free and he took defenders away, and we just weren't giving him the ball. The amount of space he created for himself, it was criminal the way we weren't using him. It seems like the ball's always going to go either to Martinelli or Saka, and he rarely gets the ball. When he does get the ball, it's always to give it back to Odegaard. Never in a position where he can. So, the player that we slag off like Eddie Nketiah, good assist, mate. Good assist. We finally got that second goal. But as you said before, the conundrum you're talking about, a striker. I'm going to say something controversial because this is what we say here. The biggest stumbling block to us getting a striker? Mikel. He's the reason why I don't think we'll get a striker, because the way Mikel wants to play, Mikel likes intricate passing. He likes the games he likes build-up play. He doesn't like us to give the ball away. And I think that if you get a striker, especially someone who we think is going to score 30 goals a season or even more, you're going to have to get the striker in the game a lot quicker and play differently. And I'm not sure Mikel's ready for that. So don't be surprised if a striker isn't our priority. I really, really do fear that he is our stumbling block. And it's not in a bad way, but it's Mikel upstairs. He's desperate for us to control games. And you know what happens when you've got a striker in your main man. You have to get the ball to him really, really quickly. And then when you get the ball really quickly, you're risking giving him possession to your opposition. You're risking becoming predictable. So he's probably thinking, right, I need more from Martinelli, more from Saka, more from Odegaard, like he did last season, and maybe Havertz now. So I'm sorry to be a party pooper, but this is the facts show. Don't be surprised if we don't get a striker. But be happy if we do. But that's something that does concern me. We know we need one. My manager prepared to change the way we play. Not sure.
He's only ever brought one striker since he's been here. Yeah, and that's Jesus.
Yeah, because
he brought a striker.
Yeah, he's not a striker. He's not.
Mate, it's crazy. He actually hasn't brought a striker because Jesus is not a striker. Yeah, but yeah, I think you're right. He is obsessed with dominating possession, and if you get the ball to a striker quickly, it does come back sometimes, doesn't it? So. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Jez, we are linked to Dominic Solanke. Would you like to see him come in January, mate? Do you think he could make the difference to shoot us to the title?
No, not at all. Don't want him near the club. I'd rather he just put all our eggs in one basket, mate, and went for Ivan Toney. Proven, can do the damage, and sadly we will get him. I'm not convinced we will, because I don't know. I'm no expert on this FFP stuff, but I hear different stories every day about, we got to sell a few before we can buy someone. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But the fact is, Ivan Toney's the man for me. He's a bullying sort of striker. I like his attitude, and I think he may be a problem for Arteta because he's got a strong character. Can Arteta handle strong characters? No. If you don't play the way Arteta wants you to play, then you're out the door. And we've seen that. Let's be honest, we've seen that with quite a few players now. Guendouzi, out the door, made one error, gone. See you later. And yeah, okay, Arteta's cleared out a lot of dross. I'll give him credit for that. But I'm a bit like Kenny. I don't think Arteta sees that as a priority, which is wrong, because I think, if anything, the game we watched yesterday proves we need a striker. We need somebody who can regularly bang those attempts in, and it doesn't happen. Brighton with yesterday, mate, were there for the taking. They really were there to be given a real hiding. 5-6-0 should have been easily, but okay, we get away with 2-0. We've got 3 points. I'm happy. Move on. Big game at the weekend. But no, Solanke, no, don't want him, mate. not interested.
What about you, Kenny? Do you think Dominic Solanke could be the difference?
Well, the thing is, Dominic Solanke is a very interesting person and a very player. He's had two big clubs. Obviously, he came through the Chelsea academy, and then it didn't work out in the Chelsea academy. He went to Liverpool, and again it didn't work out. So, he's having to reinvent himself at Bournemouth, and he's done a really good job there. When he's fully functioning and his whole game gets together, he does look a good prospect. But it's consistency. If he was consistently playing well, he would be at Bournemouth, and that's the situation. I know there's been injuries as well with Dominic as well, but is he made it to Arsenal? You know what? Depends what Mikel wants. Depends on the style of play, innit? Because I'm not convinced that Mikel wants that kind of player, but the striker that he wants or the forward player. Because let's not talk about striker. Let's talk about forward player. He wants the whole caboodle. I have doubts whether he'll be satisfied with Haaland in the team, not because of what Haaland does in terms of goals. Of course, he's going to love it, but it's the all-round play. You know what I mean? And that's why I look at Solanke and said, I don't know, man. He's still young enough, but is he good enough to make that transition? I don't think so. He's not the first choice, But then again, Trossard wasn't our first choice. Mudryk was. So, nah. I said on my Instagram no, and I still stick to it no. He's had 2 bites of the cherry at the big time, and it hasn't worked out. 4 more injuries. So I don't think the third time lucky is on the horizon for us, personally.
I agree as well. Like I've seen, as per usual, social media is flooded with people that are now convincing themselves Dominic Solanke is the guy for us. It's almost like every single player we get linked to, they want. Yeah, and then the ones that they don't want, i.e. 29, as soon as they get it, oh, okay, well, we're back it now. Well, you just spent 4 years slagging, or 3 years slagging him off at Chelsea. Now he's here. You want to, okay, cool, I get it, whatever. Right? But if we sign Dominic Solanke, there should be a riot. Yeah, there should be protests. Yeah, because we're currently top of the table. And if you look at the strikers that Liverpool have, you have Salah, Gakpo, Jota, Nunez, Diaz. Then you go and have a look at Man City's forwards, Haaland, and Grealish, Doku, Alvarez. Now you look at ours, and we're going to add Dominic Solanke. What? Because he's 6'4". Like, come on, what are we doing here? Yeah, the guy is playing for Bournemouth for a reason. Yeah, he's never been prolific, like you said. At least with Ivan Toney, yes, he's only playing for Brentford. The guy's decent. He's prolific. They had 30-odd goals in the Championship. It was a record until Mitrovic broke it. Then he come up and he's got better every year.
And he has made that transition between leagues. And the thing is that, don't get me wrong, he had his big chance at the big time in Newcastle. But at the time, when he was at Newcastle, he was a lad, from Northampton, and Newcastle wasn't what it was now. At Brentford, he's more than ready. Some young players, they're not ready for the big time. But as they get older, he's matured into, was he 27? He's matured into a complete player. I mean, the only thing is wrong with him is he can't resist a bet. But apart from that, who knows, isn't it? Who knows, mate? We're probably going to be in 20 years' time, probably going to be watching documentaries of him rather than our good friend from West London, Paul Merson. You know what I mean? He knows he probably have to work for Sky to get another 2 jobs after he retires because I hope he's got his money. But on a serious level, Ivan is the man. But as I said before, we all, as long as Mikel's our manager, I just think that him, and Guardiola, they're kind of those players who love to be in control of the games, love to control possession. Klopp's to a certain extent like that as well because, Liverpool's most prolific goal scorer in the last 6 years isn't actually an out-and-out striker. He's like he's a right-sided forward who cuts in his left foot. You know what I mean? And the guy who they sold at Bayern Munich wasn't exactly an out-and-out striker. So maybe that's where modern football's going. Maybe we have to accept that, the centre forward, Gary Lineker type player, just isn't. Maybe we're trying to get rid of those kind of players because the only ones who's probably raising the flag for centre forwards at the moment is Harry Kane, and he's playing differently to how he is when he first started at Tottenham.
Yeah,
you know
he
what I
was
mean?
basically playing him DM against Man United the other night.
You know, it's a whole new show. But if we were to, you know, have if we were to be, say, if we were bored one day, and you didn't have anything to do, Jez, your wife was out with her mates, Lee, your missus was out somewhere, and I had the house to myself. We said, look, let's just have a fun podcast. And I did the scene behind it. You did presenting, Lee. Jez, you were me and you were the guests, and I just had the ideas. And I said, I'll probably say, is the centre forward position a dying art in big time football?
It is.
Because
do you know why it is?
Well,
I'll tell you why I think it is. Yeah, smash these likes up as well, man. Come on, what are you lot doing? 130 likes is a joke, man. Literally.
Come on.
Out people.
90k, come on.
Jez as well. Jez's links in the pinned comment with Kenny's Insta. Do you know what I think it is? That strikers are a dying breed. Yeah, because the way football is now, it's all about systems. Yeah, and if you leave your zone on the pitch, yeah, you're getting hooked, and then the whole system falls apart. Yeah. Look at yesterday. Yeah, Liverpool were awful, absolutely awful. Man United, awful. Man United went and parked the bus. Yeah, and soon as the system, gets, what do I do now? Because they're not playing. We haven't got a backup plan. All the modern football is just run as fast as you can, run as far as you can, and stay in your zone on the pitch. That's it. Football is trash, mate. Yeah, and the problem is,
it's always been like that, though.
Yeah, but it has in the Premier League, to be fair, to a certain degree. But go back 10, 15 years ago in the Premier League, we had so many good footballers in it, technically good footballers. How many have we got in the Premier League now? Anyone who looks half sensible, it's like, wow, like that. What's his name? Bernardo. Bernardo stands head and shoulders technically above most players in the league.
What's the difference between? All right, back in the 80s, they were looking for players who could run, who are big and can run. Now we're looking for players who can basically run and follow a system. Like the game is so tactical nowadays that you look at the Man United teams under Sir Alex Ferguson, their team under Arsene Wenger. Both teams had players who took risks. Players with that je ne sais quoi. They were very attacking teams. But when Man United and Arsenal used to win the league and during their times, the maximum points they'll get when they win the league was probably the mid-80s, 80 points. Now, in this sort of like this, how do I say, chessboard stage, you got managers like Guardiola, Arteta, Klopp, and Ten Hag's desperate to be that, but he hasn't got the players. It's like Man United can now be beaten not by teams who are better than them in terms of like playing ability, but by teams who are more organised. So if Man United try to play the Man United style, all teams like Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Brighton have to do is just stay in their lane, make sure they're compact, wait for Man United to retire, and then run for those spaces, and they're straight on a nana. That's what that's how it is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's more tactical now rather than technical because,
that's what I mean. Tactical, but that's but it's all
look at Palace. Yeah, look at Palace. Yeah, they stunk a draw at Etihad the other day, and I watched that game. Man City didn't have any idea how to do anything. Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing. They were just passing. But because Palace had every single man in the penalty box, they were cutting off every angle and every lane to get a ball through. Yeah, so
Brighton did that to us. That's what Brighton did. Lee, but rewind. Brighton did that to us yesterday.
So that's what I'm saying.
And some of the
back in the day, players wouldn't. Yes, you'd have a park the bus team, but normally the park the bus team wouldn't be a Premier League team. It'd be a League One team in a cup game playing against a bigger team. Yeah, like you get the odd fixture, but how many times do we see every weekend a team just park the bus against someone in the Premier League? It happens every week. That's what happened 20 years ago. Yeah, because teams would have a go, and that's why strikers, are pretty much dying out. Yeah, they're dying out. Erling Haaland, head and shoulders in this league clear of anyone. Why? Because he's a big 6'4" lad, and he can just bully his way through. And Man City will eventually get him a goal. Yeah, how many skill? What I'm trying to say is he technically good on the ball? No. Is his link-up play good? No. Yeah, but he's not in the team to do any of that. He's just there as a robot. Yeah, that you just get in and around the box. We'll keep feeding you the ball, and eventually you will score one of your 6 chances or one of your 5 chances. But we'll keep giving you 5. Back in the day, Thierry Henry used to come. Look at the goal he scored against Liverpool. Yeah, when he got the hat-trick against Liverpool in the 4-2, he picked the ball up in the centre circle. Yeah.
Yeah,
and our players were on the edge of their box. He run back and got the ball himself.
Yeah, he's. Don't you think he was the beginning and end of the traditional striker? Because he was the one who changed the way strikers played.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, totally agree with
he
that.
was basically an outside forward, wasn't he? Outside forward stroke striker. And then everyone's kind of gone down that road. But can you imagine if Man City were on the edge of their the opposition box and Erling Haaland's the one running into midfield to get the ball from the centre circle, whilst the rest of his team are on the edge of the box? Pep would have him hooked off. Exactly. Pep would have him hooked off. Pep hooked Thierry Henry off at Barca because he didn't track back. Why are you asking him to track back? Like, come on, get out of here. Like, but football now, it's all about the tactical side. It's all about just run as fast as you can. And if you're not as good as the team you're playing, just park everyone on the edge of the box. Yeah, Sean Dyche does it all the time. We've seen the video that's done the rounds of Sean Dyche saying play within the width of the box defensively and just cut all the angles off. Yeah, this shit weren't happening 20 years ago, as regular as it is now. But the reason for that is the money in the game now, and the money for getting another place higher and keeping your job for another year. It's totally different to back in the day. Like back in the day, the money was dead compared to what they're getting paid now. And so they found a way to kind of lower the quality, but get a better output. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. If you look at last season in the Premier League as well, right? Southampton finished bottom of the league. Right? Southampton knocked Man City out of the cup. Like, how did they do that? They parked the bus. Yeah, they parked the bus. Leeds United conceded 78 goals last season, but they scored 48. Right? 48. I'll give you an example of another team higher up. Aston Villa finished 7th and scored 51. But Leeds conceded 78. Yeah, I'll give you another example. 78 is only 15 goals more than Tottenham conceded. And they got relegated. Yeah, Southampton conceded 73. Leicester conceded 68. Yeah, these teams all scored 51 goals Leicester scored. Yeah, so that's why they got relegated, because they were all 3 of them teams were end to end. But when they come up against a bigger team, they'll park the bus. And that's why they got relegated. They'll score loads of goals, a bit like Brendan Rodgers, but then they'll concede loads of goals. Yeah, but that's why they got relegated. The teams that stayed in that league last season were the best drilled teams in the league. And the other 3 that got relegated, Southampton, Leeds and Leicester, weren't as drilled. Yeah, it was like tennis match, end-to-end football, unless they played a big boy and then they sat back and parked the bus. Yeah, you can't stay in the league like that. Yeah, you can't stay in the league playing end-to-end football unless you are. Well, you can't win anything like that, as Brendan Rodgers proved at Liverpool. If you're going to go end-to-end 4 3s, 2 1s every week, 3 2s every week, you're not going to win it. Yeah, whereas the best...
Isn't the positives, though? Isn't the positives of that is that the answer to all of that and the result is English teams are doing better in European competition because they're playing like our cousins abroad. Now, when they were gun-ho, or you may not gun-ho. When was the life expectancy of a European team, of an English team in European competition when we were playing like that? When we were playing how we were playing 20 years ago. Compare it to now. Look at English teams in Europe now. It's all right. The entertainment value is taking a knock-on effect, but in terms of like the probability of them getting further in European competition, you can't lie with the figures. Last season, Man City won the Champions League. West Ham won the Conference League. The year before, West Ham got to the semi-finals of the Europa League. Liverpool got to the Champions League final. The year before that, Chelsea won the Champions League. The more tactical the game's getting in this country, the more benefits, the more you're seeing the sort of the benefits when we play in Europe, because we're transferring that to Europe. And then when we do get some of these teams at home, our athleticism is enabling us to win the game pretty comfortably. I don't know how it's going to fare in the Champions League, but you want to put your money past Man City because they finally got mastered.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I watched Real Madrid last night. Yeah, none of this inverted.
You never know. You never know. But Man City will get there far. They're not going to go out in the last 16.
Oh, yeah, City get to the latter stages. We already know that. And if they don't, it'll be a shock. Yeah, but Real Madrid, I think they'll win it. I genuinely think Real Madrid will win everything this season. Yeah, they've got so many good players.
Can't they let someone else win the Champions League?
That Real Madrid squad is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Whereas Man City's squad isn't ridiculous. They've got a good first 11 when fit, and they've got a couple of good bench players. The rest of them are goalkeepers and youth academy. Right. So Real Madrid have got Modric until recently sat on the bench for most of the season. Yeah, like Nacho, 5-time Champions League winner, sat on the bench. So no inverted fullbacks, just straight up football, 4-4-2 formation, go and blitz them. Yeah, go and blitz them. And they were quality. Yeah, they were a joy to watch last night. I can't lie, man. They were absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and if we come up against them, good night. Bye-bye. Honestly. Yeah, it'd be curtains if we get them. So, yeah, man, I don't know. Jez, what do you feel the reason is, mate? Do you think it's the stakes are too high now? So they've took the quality away? Or do you think it's something else, mate?
No, I totally agree. I think the technical side of football has disappeared. You made a comment there about some of the players that we used to have, technically gifted players. One in particular, midfield player, Patrick Vieira. You know, him, and I don't see many players like that anymore. Strikers in particular. I totally agree. I've never really thought about it, but when I sat listening to you guys speaking there, I'm thinking the only real one player I could think of that I would say is an out-and-out goal-scoring player at the moment is Haaland, because as you quite rightly said, all you have to do is plonk him on the edge of that 18-yard box, keep feeding him, and he'll score at some point in the game. Now, is that a technically gifted player? No. He's a great goal machine, but I wouldn't say he's technically gifted. And I think that is a big problem in football now. We've lost a lot of that. It is actually quite rightly. You know, yes, looking at the game yesterday, we had players that can run very fast, and they can run and run all game. And basically, they ran the legs off Brighton. Now, Brighton, I know, had a game Thursday night, wasn't it? So, were they a little bit jaded? Could be. But I'm just going to say that Arsenal had the better physique and the better fitness that we were able to do that to them. And will we do that at the weekend? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one, because could Liverpool do the same? Yes. And it could be a problem. But getting back to the point, you are so right. Technically gifted players, to my mind, you don't see them very often now. It is pure. They're all athletes. They're 100 mile an hour. They can run for 90 minutes, and they've got some nice silky skills. But it's not the same as it was back in the 90s, you know, when you absolutely had total class players who were so technically gifted in what they could do with the football. Mate, yes. Let's look at another thing. The crossing of a ball nowadays, right? Unless it's from like a corner, free kick, is terrible. It's bloody awful at times. And I was looking at Martinelli yesterday. Some of his passing was woeful. Now, I think I believe he's dropped down this season. Last season, I thought he was a different level. This season so far, I haven't been impressed with him. He doesn't seem to have that flowing way of he wants to play. And I don't know, is that he's being held back? I don't think Arteta would say that personally. I just think he's dropped in confidence a little bit, maybe. But yeah, I think it's a great sad thing in football now that we don't have those technically brilliant players. certainly not in the Premier League. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm talking about the European leagues because I don't watch it. But you do. You watch the Spanish leagues and all that, so you know far better than me. But in the Premier League, can't think of that many that actually stand and come to the front of my mind and say, yeah, brilliant player. Not really.
Yeah, there's not many. Bernardo Silva's one of them. Bernardo Silva looks so amazing on the ball because there's hardly any of them in the league. Yeah, Bernardo Silva, if you picked him up and put him in the Spanish league, he's one of about 100. They're all good on the ball. Yeah, they don't get coached out of them. I watched Villarreal last night. They got taken apart by Real Madrid, but they still had a go. They're still popping the ball around. Yeah, they're still calm and collected on the ball. They just lack that extra level to compete with Madrid. Yeah, and I'm going to do the Girona Alaves game tonight. Alaves just don't score any goals. They're a little bit like Brighton, Alaves. They're nice pass and move and all of that. Just don't have any goals in them. Yeah, but they're all comfortable on the ball. Yeah, and that's why whenever we're linked to players in the Spanish league, Zubamendi, we're linked to him at Real Sociedad. He's quality. Yeah, he's quality. I guarantee he'll come to the Premier League and it'll get coached out of him in a year. Yeah, and if it don't, then he'll be looking like one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Yeah, because he's so good on the ball. Yeah, now compare that to somebody like, I don't know, Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott at times looks great. Great, nice little first touch at times. But then there's other times he's clumsy as fuck. Yeah, and the reason he can't get into that team is because he has got more technical ability than most of their midfielders. And Klopp don't want that. Yeah, but he's just another one that's in that bit of his career where it's, where do you go from here? Do you change your game to get a game? Yeah, or do you stick to you being a technical footballer, a good technical footballer? He's not world class or elite, but he's very good. He's better than McAllister on the ball. He's better than Gravenberch on the ball. He's better than Slobosly on the ball. Yeah, and he can't get a game. There's a reason for that. Because he don't run hard enough. He don't run far enough. That's why he comes off the bench. Yeah, and I just moan about modern football all the time. I can't stand it. It's horrible to watch, man. That's why I watch the Spanish league, because it ain't. The Spanish league's not horrible to watch. Even the shit teams are decent. Yeah, they've just got a lack of quality in comparison to the better teams. Yeah, but they're still good to watch. They still try and play nice football. Yeah, facts. It's all about the money, mate. It's all about the money. If you gave these teams over here or over in Italy or Germany, maybe not Germany, but yeah, maybe Germany, maybe all the other 5 leagues or 4 leagues, if you gave them all the TV money that our league gets, yeah, these leagues would blow our league out the water, mate. Imagine, right, when people sit there and say, oh, yeah, but that league's shit. Okay, that league's shit. Why is it shit? Because it ain't got the money. Yeah, if you gave an equal share, like we do in the Premier League, to every single league in the world, right? Let's say the billions that we get, every year, every team gets a minimum of 100 million. Every team in the Premier League. Southampton got 100 million for being the last team in the league. Now give that 100 million to every single team in another league, yeah, and they'll dominate. They'll dominate every European competition. They'll dominate everything. Yeah, because their level's clear technically, and they'll just play you off the park.
Yeah, the thing that, but that's the thing. The one thing this country is really good at, especially I think this country's biggest product is the Premier League. It's probably it's remarkable how well it's marketed. It's remarkable, how they don't need Sky, they don't need BT. They could do it themselves. I mean, you think about it, the Premier League, the amount of money they get from Sky, BT, and they get money from the BBC for Match of the Day, and then
all the other networks across Europe and the world.
Europe, innit? You know what I mean? They are caking it. Can you imagine the amount of interviews players have to do? They've got to do an interview with BBC, TNT Sports, Sky, Optus Australia, NBC, RTE in Ireland, or Virgin in Ireland. I can't be bothered counting all these other countries, but that's the thing. It's the most well promoted in the league, and that's why. Trust me, if you're Premier League chairman, mate, you are not coming out of that league, mate. You're not going to come out of that league. You're going to just say to your manager, just keep us in the league. And the manager said, all right, easy, simple. I'm going to get someone who can run. I've got someone who's not as technically gifted as the player that I was looking for 20 years ago. But I know if I told him to mark this player out of the game, he'll do it. That's all they want nowadays. All the teams that are open are getting smashed. Burnley, poor old Burnley. they're the only team that try to play football. And look at them.
Yeah. Big up to everybody inside, man. Big up to everybody inside. I wasn't at the Champions League final. I actually had a big row with my missus at that time because I wanted to go, and she kicked off, so I didn't go. That won't ever happen again, by the way.
You used to with her? I'm not.
No, that was years and years and years back, obviously. Yeah, years and years back. Yeah, years and years. I wanted to go, and she kicked off. So
why did she kick off?
Just kicking off. It's too much money. We're saving for this. Blah blah
I'll
blah.
Have walked there and then.
Funny enough, I finished with her about 6 months later.
Right,
6 months too late.
Yeah, but there we go. But yeah, I want to read this comment. Thank you. Listen, I weren't at the Champions League final. Were either of you two there?
No,
I was there.
There you go. Kenny was there.
I was in Paris. Yeah.
There you go. I didn't want to say yes without typing it. I wanted to ask you because I thought you'd gone. Big up to Trent as well. The Spanish league would not beat English league, especially if you compare what position every team is. That's factually incorrect, mate. Yeah, because the last 70 games in European competition, Spanish teams have played English teams. English teams have won 20 of them. Villarreal beat Arsenal and Man United. Just saying, people. Just saying. Anyway, let's move on. The Champions League draw, Jez.
Yeah.
In fact, let me start with Kenny with the Champions League draw, because I'm sure you're looking forward to going to the games under the lights, goosebumps when the anthem's out. Kenny, you've obviously been this season, but now we're getting into the latter stages. What did you make of that today, Porto? It could have been worse, couldn't it?
Well, I was disappointed we didn't get Copenhagen.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. One, I know that we would have thrashed them, and two, I would have demanded a cheaper ticket. I can't really try it on now. We got
Porto.
now we got Porto. But the thing is that the thing with Portuguese teams, they're very, very strange. They're strange. You write them off at their peril. You really write them off. They got a very good pedigree in the Champions League and the previous European Cup. Last time we played Porto was
Porto have won it twice, didn't they?
Yeah, they won it twice. Yeah, last time we played them was 14 seasons ago, and we beat them. Was it 6-2 in aggregate? So
Nicholas Bent a hat trick.
Yeah. So you know what? I am looking forward to it because I think it's a good opportunity for us. But I always remember what happened last year when we played Lisbon. I thought we were going to go through. So I'm just going to be really cautious, but it's a good opportunity. But the thing is that if we do beat Porto, then we're definitely going to get one of the big boys. It's going to be very difficult to avoid getting Man City. It's going to be very difficult to avoid getting Bayern, and very difficult to avoid getting the Madrid clubs. Because if is it Milan playing Atletico Madrid?
Let me tell you. Hang on. Got it here. It is. Let's have a look. Yeah, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid.
You see the thing of Inter Milan is that they done really well to get to the Champions League final, and they did it quietly because all the noise was Man City, Real Madrid. Whilst that's a team that I don't really know about. Atletico Madrid is a team I do not want to play in the quarterfinals. That's assuming we beat Porto. So if we're going to win the Champions League, we're going to have to do it the hard way. We're going to play some really difficult teams. You know what I mean? But we might as well have a go because, as I said, Chelsea have a good record in the Champions League when they play in it. Spurs, never feared anyone when they played in the Champions League. So we might as well flex their muscles and say, look, we're a good team now. We defend a lot better than we did under Arsene. What's there to fear?
The thing is, Kenny, we've just got to go for it now. We got ourselves. We're in the mix. We're in with the big boys now. So if Arteta sets it up right, well, who knows? But at the end of the day, you're quite right. Listen, you know, the next round, if we get through this one, beat Porto, then we're in the mix. We get Real Madrid, Bayern. Dear God, I hope not Bayern. I'd hate us to get knocked out by Bayern again, because it's just heartbreak. Heartbreak time.
Yeah, I think that thing is, they're a machine, aren't they? Even now, they're a bit of a machine. You know what I mean?
They're not very
And
good. They can turn it on just like that. They're not very good anymore, but they can turn it on when they have to. They were in first year.
Experience, isn't he? Tuchel, he's got to 2 finals. One lost one, won one. You know what I mean? Both times I didn't expect him to win the Champions League on either occasion. I expected Bayern to beat him in 2020, and they did. I expected Man City to beat Chelsea, and they didn't. So yeah, he's got the he's got the team as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely got the squad, and they've been there, done it, and won it. But I don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting, because the thing is, I think Porto plays Sporting tonight. Whoever wins goes top. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are happy with the draw, because it could have been worse. But
would the same Barcelona
kind of underestimate Porto? And again, what you'll get from a Portuguese team is very good on the ball. Yeah, they're good on the ball. They'll pass it around. We see that with Sporting last year. Yeah, obviously Aaron Ramsdale didn't help by getting lobbed from the halfway line. But
don't Lee, you're gonna get the friends of Aaron now. Friends of Aaron, come on, friends of Aaron.
It's crazy. Big up to Feliz, man. He says, why are Bayern aren't as good as they were when they won it in 2020? Why? They're not, bro. If you've watched them this season, they are not very good. Even their own fans are saying they're not very good to watch, and it's not sustainable, the football that they're playing. They're getting the results, but however, yeah, they slap teams up 8-0. They're winning games 3-1, 4-1, stuff like that. But they're not playing very well. Yeah, yesterday, that game against Stuttgart was pathetic. Yeah, I think Thomas Müller was onside because he was in his own half. But Stuttgart's high line was so high that he was in his own half and he was clean through, because the Stuttgart high line was literally in the other team, in Bayern's half. Yeah, so one ball over the top, he was gone. Just ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. They're getting the results, but then ultimately, if it's not sustainable football, yeah, results mask over it. And eventually they got slapped 5-1 by Frankfurt. And that slapping's been coming all season. Yeah, that's been coming all season. And then they went to Old Trafford the other day, yeah, and they had to get a result. Otherwise, he probably would have lost his job, even though they'd qualified. Yeah, we've seen the standards are set at that football club. They sacked Nagelsmann with 9 games to go when they were second. Can you imagine if we'd sacked Mikel when we're second with 9 games to go? Yeah, close to the top, 2 points off the top. It just wouldn't happen at our club. Yeah, and they ended up winning the league. So listen, they're not playing well, but they've got quality players. Thomas Muller's been on the bench for most of the season. Why? Because Harry Kane's there. Then Harry Kane is dropping into the positions where Muller occupies. Musiala, brilliant footballer. Yeah, absolutely quality footballer. Yeah, but again, it's moments. They're having good moments, and we've had good moments. Liverpool have had good moments this season. None of us are playing well. Yeah, we ain't playing great. Yeah, Liverpool ain't playing great, and Man City ain't playing great, and that's why we're all so close together. Because if Man City hadn't have gone 1 win in 6, they'd be clear at the top of the table right now. Yeah, and if we hadn't have dropped points in certain games, yeah, we'd be gone. If Liverpool had not done it, they'd be gone. So, yeah, it's crazy. Results mask over performances a lot of the times, but Bayern Munich ain't that great. They're not that great. I wouldn't fancy getting them, because at any point they can turn it on. Now I've got a striker that can score a load of goals. But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy to see, man. I think we've got to get through Porto first. And if we can get through them, then yeah. And I think there'll be a few surprises. I think there's going to be a few upsets. We might see PSG getting knocked out. They got Real Sociedad, who are going to press PSG into submission. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they'll pass you off the park as well. Yeah, Kieran Tierney, my left back keeping clean sheets back-to-back games, man. Come on, back in after injury.
Is he back fit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, he came on the other night in the Champions League game. They'd already topped their group anyway. But he came on second half, clean sheet. And the game before that, they won 3-0 in the league, and he played. He kept a clean sheet that game as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, because the way this draw has been set up, all of the big boys can go through. It's not like, I know when Inter are playing Atleti, That's probably the only one where you'd look at that and go, I can't really call that game. Yeah, maybe the PSG Sociedad game as well, but the rest of them, they're all pretty much nailed on the favourites going through. Yeah, I think Napoli are probably favourites against Barca. Barca are going out. Yeah, I'll be shocked if Barca get through. Yeah, and he's got a shit European record as well, Xavi. And they're not the Barca they used to be. Mate, they're awful to watch, man. But again, they've got players that can turn it on when needed. So I don't know. We'll see, man. But I don't think we should be scared of anybody. However, this manager's record in European competition stinks. Yeah, and so does our January activity most January. So we've got to go out there and attack the markets and go and get some players in, because our bench at the weekend, yet again, we made the subs after they made 4. 2 games in a row, the opposition team have made 4 subs before us. That tells you we don't rate the bench. It tells you we don't rate the bench.
I totally agree with that.
We're bringing on Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah to try and finish a game off. Like, come on, man.
He bought Emil as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be here much longer. I think he'll be gone at the end of the season. I think we'll sell him. Wouldn't surprise me if he's gone. He can't stay fit, and then when he gets in the team, he's almost desperate to show that he's quality. And it's like, and I think he's playing like tense. He's trying to impress so much that it ain't happening. Like yesterday, that chance he had yesterday, he should have scored. If that was him 2 seasons, guys, in the back of the
2 years ago, he scores it.
Yeah,
you know, Italy though, it's one of those things where the manager's in a hurry. He moves the style of play on every season. Poor Emil. I can think of about Havertz is in front of him, Martinelli's in front of him, because for some reason we think he's he's like a left-sided forward, and then you've got Odegaard, who's always going to be in front of him, and I haven't even mentioned Trossard. So where can you fit Smith-Rowe in? Because I say it respectfully, and I'm not trying to put the lad down, but that cup game against Liverpool, I'm sorry, I can't see him getting even a place in that game, because it's Liverpool, we've got to have a go. Arsenal have to win trophies. Yeah. There's no excuse for us not to take Liverpool seriously, because the fact is, it's the FA Cup game. It's not on our season tickets, but a lot of us have bought tickets to go to that game because it's Liverpool. So the expectations are high.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true. It's Liverpool. No, at the end of the day, it's not an easy game. But last year, like Lewis made this point to me the other day. Was it Lewis or maybe it was someone else? I can't remember. Last year, we played Man City in the FA Cup, and they didn't even look like they were bothered. Man City, and they still beat us 1-0. And that was then in their head, Man City. Oh, they're crap. Yeah, we're going to walk this title now. And it was a psychological one. Yeah, and then in our heads, it's like, oh, we still can't bloody beat this lot. Yeah, and then we bottled it. Yeah, now what we've got to do is get over that, try and get a win at Anfield at the weekend, and give that psychological boost to us and make them start doubting themselves. Then when we play them in the cup, beat them again. Because then all of a sudden, it's like flipping out, Arsenal are serious here. But if we don't win either of them games, then don't expect us to win anything, because we'll be out of that cup, we'll be out of the League Cup, and all of a sudden we've now got to try and win a Champions League, which we've never done in our history, up against some better teams than Liverpool, and then try and win a Premier League up against Liverpool and Man City. So this cup game is massive. And the game at the weekend. How do you see the game going at the weekend, Jez? Because if we don't take our chances like the other day, and we ain't going to get that many, that's for sure, then we ain't winning.
No, I totally think you're right in what you say. We have a bit of a hoodoo about us when we go to Anfield. I can almost guarantee they're not going to play. Liverpool are not going to play like they did against Man United yesterday. It's Arsenal. I think it was just a boring game yesterday. Both teams negated each other. Man United, I don't know what's happened to them. They were absolutely shockingly bad. So bad. Never seen it. I can't remember for years seeing a Man United team as bad as that. And I'm going back a long way. But Liverpool, we know they're going to be on it. And the only thing we can do really is keep that. We've got to score early. We've got to keep that crowd quiet. Yeah, we've got to shut them up because they're only noisy when they're on. They're out there in front, because otherwise Anfield is dead. It is absolutely dead.
It is one of the most overrated football stadiums. Yeah, like everyone raves about the noise, mate. It's quiet. Every time I've been, it's quiet. Yesterday, Gary Neville saying it was quiet for 85 minutes.
Yeah,
that's the biggest game in England.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've never been there for a European game, obviously, but I'm led to believe that that's the biggest atmosphere you get at the Anfield. But getting back to our game with them, we've got to get in front. We've got to start quick. We did last year, 2-0 up, and we were cruising, absolutely cruising until Xhaka did Xhaka stuff and got the crowd on Arsenal's back. But I'm going in with a sneaky. I'm going in with a sneaky 2-1 win to the Arsenal. That's my prediction for you.
What about you, Kenny? Do you think we're going to go and play like we did against Man City when we beat them at home this season? Do you think we're just going to sit back, be tight, not really come out and play attacking football, but then just try and nick it? Or do you think we're actually going to have a go at them?
Well, the thing about it is, I think Liverpool are going to be tight as well. The reason why I think they're going to be tight is because I think they've got a slight problem down their left-hand side, down their right-hand side. Because when Trent, if you notice that when Trent comes into the middle, he plays, he always makes sure that Joe Gomez comes on, has a lot of game time, because he's worried about teams exploiting their left-hand side and Liverpool's right-hand side. Because you notice Fulham got a lot of joy against them at the Anfield. All right, didn't see it through, but that's an area can hurt Liverpool when Trent gets into the middle. That's an area, because Salah isn't going to track back. Because they don't watch Salah tracking
as well. He's been decent when he's played.
Exactly. So Gomez is in that situation, and you noticed as well that Liverpool are going to probably tie up there. So what you're going to see is what you saw yesterday, where Gomez got in a lot of Trent Alexander's crossing positions. That's why I think it's going to be a bit of a tight game, because he's going to be worried about Martinelli's pace and Zinchenko, getting into those sort of creative positions. So that's an area where I think we could hurt Liverpool and our left-hand side, their right-hand side. In terms of like the strikers, obviously I big them up a lot, but if you want to talk from an Arsenal perspective in a positive way, Núñez has only scored one goal in the last. He's only scored one goal in the last, 6 or 7 games, even though he's had numerous chances. So that's an area where, everything's not going as well as we think about Liverpool. Remember, their goals have come from Alexander-Arnold. He's got a few goals here and there. Harvey Elliott had to come on and score a goal here and there. So
for a few games, quite a few games.
But it's not as going to be like a backs to wall jobs for us as we think. But one thing is that our midfield is probably both the midfields are works in progress in terms of like we haven't got Thomas Partey and we still got a midfield that's trying to make its way. And Liverpool obviously have got that midfield. Where is McAllister going to be fit for that game?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think he will be.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They've had a settled midfield of Szoboszlai and McAllister, and then Endo or Gravenberch. So that's an area where I think that's where the game's going to be won. But I think if we keep our shooting boots on, I do agree with Jez. We've got a good chance of winning there. But the thing is it's mental. It's a mental thing about it, isn't it? Because because we're a better team than Man United, we're not going to play like Man United. You know what I mean? But one thing Man United did is that even though they were boring to watch, they still opened Liverpool up. And I like to think that, if you had Saka on that chance ahead of, Højlund, Saka will put one arm away. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a lot tighter. I haven't watched Liverpool over the last few weeks, and I haven't watched Liverpool yesterday. I do think that Liverpool are not going to be as expansive as they were before. They are going to have a go, but they're going to use their brains a bit because they're going to be worried about us in the counter attack, especially down our left hand side. Because with Trent Alexander trying to be the conductor, he's going to leave a lot of space. If we don't exploit that and take advantage, then we're pork chops, because that's our chance of winning the game. It's our left hand side. Martinelli, get your skates on. Zinchenko, do what you don't normally do and overlap. And Odegaard, get down that left hand side, because that's our chance of winning the game. If we don't exploit that left hand side, we're good. I don't see us winning it. I see us getting a point at best. But you know, because it's Anfield, Liverpool's obviously the favourites, because we have shown that when we play teams who are very organised away from home, we don't beat them. Newcastle didn't beat them. Villa, very organised away from home, we didn't beat them. So
and we weren't very good against Luton. Let's be real.
Exactly, yeah. So maybe if Liverpool were to go gung ho, that could help us in a certain step. If they're organised and they use their brains and get a blueprint of how, you know, Newcastle beat us and how Villa beat us, I think that's their chance of victory. Because at the end of the day, Klopp ain't going to want to get mullered at Anfield by us. So he's going to be worried about that right hand side, their right hand side, with Trent coming in the middle. That's an area where we can beat them.
Yeah, totally agree. Listen, Mikel Arteta will be wheeling out the speakers this week. Never walk alone. They'll be demoed out the Conley training ground.
God, really?
But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, man. And the funny thing is if we draw, well, Aston Villa can go top anyway. They play on Friday night, so we can both of us. Well, we're going to
Aston Villa got
Sheffield United.
That's a win.
Yeah, Villa
that's a win.
So yeah, they'll be top of the league most likely by the time we go to Anfield. And if we draw, they stay top. So they'll be top for Christmas. That's crazy.
Can't have that.
We need to get a win up there, and we need to break this.
One more thing, Lee. One more thing. Don't forget, Liverpool would have played West Ham on a Wednesday in the League Cup quarterfinals. So they would have had to play a game more than us by the time the teams meet. So they'll be obviously physically not at the right level when they're playing us. So that's not another opportunity. That's why I do think Liverpool aren't going to be gung ho, because of the fact that they've had, you know, 3 games in a week, whilst we'd have 2 games in a week. Look what happened with Aston Villa, how they played against us after they beat Man City.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true. We are going to wrap this up, guys. I'm on with Henry in 45 minutes, and then I'm doing a watch along for Girona versus Alaves. So that should be good. Girona, if they win, go top. They should win. They're at home. And I'm expecting loads of goals, because this team are quality to watch and they bag goals. So yeah, make sure you come and join them. Lee reacts later for that. Big up to everybody who's tuned in. Big up for over 90k. We're nearly on 90.1. So it's moving pretty quick. Big up to everybody who's smashed the like button as well. Make sure you sub to Jez. It's in the pinned comment. Jez, what you got coming up, mate?
I'm doing my 8 o'clock tonight. I'm doing my 90s team, my top players of that era, which I found very hard to do, actually, because we had such class players. And to be honest, it really was troublesome. And then Wednesday night, Kenny weekly chat. If you're around, Kenny, on Wednesday.
Also, definitely around, mate.
I've got Anfield Uncle Rod's joining us to talk about the game. So that'd be cool. And then on Friday night, I'm doing my Christmas show. Kenny's on, and some other guests, and just a general chit chat about just about anything. Anything, football, cooking, turkeys, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just
pork chops.
Pork chops. Yeah, pork chops.
Pork chops.
Anything.
There's a few in our fan base.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what's happening, mate. And then, of course, we got the big game on Saturday, which I'm looking forward to. I'm going 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Big up. Big up to Longer Jetty as well. Lee, congrats on buying the subs from that dodgy website to get to 90k. Big up to you, my friend. Big up to Andy from earlier as well. He says, Kenny, are you in the prison exercise yard? Just asking.
You're damn right I am. Trust me. The only time I'm getting rid of this background is this background stays until we win the league or Champions League. This is my background for life on social media, on podcasts. We win the league, I go back to the palatial home that I live in.
If we win the league, I can get rid of the Invincibles. I might have to edit this a little bit because Smith Rowe and Tierney don't really get a game. Well, Tierney's not even here.
Lee, are you trying to say you're sick of hearing about the Invincibles?
Oh, mate, do you know what winds me up, Kenny? Right, if you go on Arsenal's website, they celebrate. Yeah, on this week, the Invincibles beat Blackburn. Bergkamp scored, and it's like you're literally celebrating going 20 years without a title. Have some shame. Yeah, but people buy into this. They buy into the Invincible merch. Like as long as they put Invincible or retro in the product item, people will lap it up, mate. Yeah, it's boring. Go and win another one. Stop waffling about a title 20 years ago. We sound like Liverpool fans before they won the Prem.
Well, I remember, Lee, ours was gold. Ours was gold.
Yours gold. Crazy. Big up, Kenny. What you got coming up, man? Make sure you follow Kenny's Instagram. It's in the pinned comment in the line.
Yeah, obviously, I'm gonna do. I should be doing a boxing review of the Sonny Edwards defeat to Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and obviously previewing the Day of Reckoning card in the boxing. I know you're doing a watch along with Ola amongst the Arsenal Liverpool thing, Lee. Or anti-Joshua fight, by the way. I'm sure you and Ola have got something planned that.
Yeah, I'm
day.
fuming, by the way, because anti-Joshua fights are normally free on DAZN España. And this wanker, Eddie Hearn, is now trying to tuck me up for €20. Yeah, they used to be free until this
Lee, you've got a busy night. You've got Liverpool, Arsenal, plus you've got doing stuff with Ola. I'm going to be with Jez on Wednesday and Friday. And in between that, I'm probably just going to be watching Liverpool versus West Ham, obviously for scouting reasons. Not because I want to. Obviously, I love football as well, but scouting reasons for Saturday.
Interesting. There you go. Make sure you follow both the lads. The link is in the pinned comment. This is going to redirect to Henry Wright TV. They've got their Tottenham back, and they've gone from 5th to 5th with their last 2 wins. Congratulations to them.
Not sending off though.
Yeah. Well. They never learn. But yeah, we're going to be on there in 40 minutes. So make sure you go and spam his chat. Just put in his chat. This is what you should do. Happy Destiny Adoji Day. Yeah. Or we've got our Tottenham back. Just spam his chat with that and I'll be there in 40 minutes. Now, 35 minutes, actually. And then I'm live on Lee.
Lee, don't knock it, though. Don't knock it. I think they're going to be the kingmakers of whoever wins this title. Don't knock it. We got to go there. Man City got to go there. They've got to play Liverpool at Anfield. They've got to play Villa at Villa Park. They're the team that could be the flying ointment for all the teams with title ambitions. Don't remember something's going on there.
Very good point. Very good point. Henry did a video earlier which had me in tears. I haven't watched it, but the title was cracking me up. Yeah. Do Tottenham have a mentality problem? Well, it's 15
Seriously.
years, 293 days since they've won a trophy. So yeah, I'd imagine they do. Come on, what's wrong with this club? Mad. But listen, big up to everyone who's tuned in. I'm back on there with Henry and 35. Then make sure you sub to Lee Reacts as well. I want that on 25k by New Year's Eve. We're on 22.3, nearly 22.4. I'm doing Girona versus Alaves watch along, so come and tune in for that. And good show. Big up to the lads. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone who's donated, liked, shared, subbed, and all of that. And we're out of here, people. Laters.